Hello and welcome. You're watching QTV and you are watching This Morning. I'm Ade Darami, pretending to be Ibrahim Balde. And to my left, I have my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Good morning, viewers. My name is Jacqueline Coley, and like Mr. Ade said, I am the co-host for this morning show.
And on extreme left, another familiar face. Sir.
Yes, Ibrahim Adabo. Maybe I should also pretend to be Ade Darami. Yes.
Perhaps just for today.
Yeah, just for today. Yeah.
And Ibrahim will be doing the newspaper review with us. And so I'll tell you what else is on the menu. As usual, we have the African proverb, and then we have the newspaper review. And first segment where we have interviews with ophthalmic professionals from 19 African countries graduated here in the Gambia last week, and we carry that story on QTV. And we'll be interviewing Dr. Winston Cisse from Sheikh Zayed Regional Eye Care Center, and also Pierre Mendy, who's the course coordinator for that. And also national workshop on cleaner fuels and vehicles. I'm really looking forward to that one. We've got Yusufa Jallo from the Senior Standards Officer at Gambia Standards Bureau, and also Abdul Samadou Haidara, Senior Program Officer, Environmental Quality at the National Environmental Agency. So those are the ones. As usual, we kick things off with the African proverb. And this is an interesting one. So listen keenly. If there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do no harm. If there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do no harm. This is, I'm not even sure. It's a proverb. It's not even very kind of secretive. It's kind of fairly straightforward. Where you're nodding and saying, so I'll give you first go then.
Yeah, it is very straightforward. If there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do no harm. We take a look at an example in our households. If there's no enemy within the household, how can the person that wants to do bad come in and do bad? Obviously, if there's someone within you that's also want bad things to happen to you. So, yeah, that's how I interpret this one.
And for you, Ibrahim?
I'll take it in two ways. Okay. One would be high explanation.
Yes.
To say, if you don't have an enemy inside, probably an external force would not be able to penetrate you. Maybe you are penetrated because your situation or where you are is infiltrated in a certain way. Okay, that could be one aspect of it.
That's literally.
Literally, yes. But I think in another aspect, it could be translated as saying that happiness comes from within. Okay, you are who you are, and you cannot be any other person unless you. So if I probably want to be Ade, or I want to be judged by what Ade perceived of me, then I would not be at peace with myself. You know, so that is one part that you can also self-contentment, you know, being yourself, understanding that happiness comes from within. You know, external forces, you don't need to. There used to be a quote that says you don't need people to believe in you to be yourself.
Right, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, so that's another interpretation I would give to it.
Yeah, I mean, there are many, and there isn't just one that's right or wrong.
Yeah.
For example, you could take something like a football team.
Yeah.
If they are divided and they're fighting among themselves, it's easier for another team to defeat them.
Yeah.
Because there's that lack of unity.
Right.
And so that lack of unity would be the enemy within.
Belgium, Senegal.
Well, this is it.
In the World Cup.
Yeah.
Just before they overturned the score,
Yeah.
Trossard and Tillemans
were
at loggerhead. You know, it was later.
Almost came to blows.
Yeah, it was later that they realized, hey, we need to be together, and then
right.
eventually they won the game.
Yeah, I remember the 1996 European Championships, Holland, Netherlands against England, and the Netherlands players actually fought in training, and when they came on the pitch, some of them were not even speaking to each other on the pitch.
Wow.
And England beat them 4-1, and England celebrated like they'd won the World Cup. But for me, that victory has always been tainted by the fact that their opponents were clearly divided and not, you know, on the same on the same page in terms of,
Right.
you know,
So
unity.
the enemy was within.
It was
Within.
definitely the
Yeah.
enemy
Of
within.
course,
Yeah.
Definitely
of course.
the enemy within. So yeah, I think that's fine. Well, thank you for that. We'll go for a commercial break, and after the break, we will delve into the newspaper review. Join us after this break.
Biggest network with the cheapest tariff in the Gambia, and enjoy crystal clear calls and super fast internet at the cheapest tariff only with QCell. Rush now and grab your free QCell SIM card today from any of our care centers near you. QCell, the biggest network with the cheapest tariff. QCell Senior Boss. We innovate, others follow. In December 2026, Gambians head to the polls to choose a president, and history may hang in the balance. As the day draws near, every week, right up to decision day, QTV will lead the political conversation. And nobody breaks it down like QTV. Our team of experts will help you understand the results as QTV brings you Decision 2026, a weekly program dissecting the issues, driving the debate, and giving Gambians a front row seat to the hottest topics for the defining election of our time. Hear differing views, put forward and challenged, manifestos dissected and explained. Stay informed, stay engaged. Stay tuned to QTV for everything you need to know about this year's election. Decision 2026, Thursdays at 9 p.m. Only on QTV.
Welcome back after that commercial break. And just as we were ending that break, you heard us talking about our Thursday flagship program, Decision 2026. And so I think it's fitting if I go straight to the newspapers, and I'll go for the Standard newspaper. And I won't go for the main story that's in the middle of the paper. I'll go for the one that's top left hand. And it says ex-VP Tambajang withdraws presidential bid to lead opposition unity drive. I'm not sure she's leading the drive, but maybe in terms of trying to get them to unify. She had launched her own bid, and she had said she was going to contest.
Yeah.
You know, as we've said, you know, we keep talking about, you know, how few women there are in leadership in politics in the Gambia. And it would have been interesting had she taken it all the way through to the president. But I don't think there was much traction really for her. All the noise seems to be around a whole bunch of other people, most of them men. So Jacqueline, what's your take on that?
Well, I would say maybe it's the right thing for her to do. Like you said, the attention seems to focus on other people rather than her. You hear little or nothing about her with regards to her bid. So I think she did the right thing. But to say she's gonna
Lead
the drive to the
well,
unity?
maybe it's in a way. When I read this and how I read this is that she's leading the drive to get them to unify.
Okay.
It's not saying
Which
that
is a
she's
good thing.
leading
Yeah.
the opposition, but just to get them to unify
Okay.
as an opposition.
Yeah.
And maybe that is now her mission, now that she's withdrawn her own presidential bid, Ibrahima.
Yeah, I think she's taking cue of her role in the 2026 coalition building process.
2016.
2016,
Yes.
I would say,
Yeah.
because she was one of the principal architects
Yes.
of that coalition.
Right.
And then, although she has served in the government as the vice president under Barrow, you know, so recently we've seen her coming out to say she wants to launch her own bid to become the president.
That's right.
In fact, she is one of two former female vice presidents
Yes,
under
right.
Barrow who came out to launch their own bid.
That's
But
right.
sometime last week, I think this was sometime last week, at the coalition meeting, which
Yes.
was chaired by Professor
Mbalo.
Mbalo.
Yeah.
Yes, so it was at that meeting that she said she is withdrawing from the contest, and then she is going to focus on how to bring opposition parties together.
Yeah.
Because I remember at her speech she said the interest of the Gambia outweighs her personal interest,
Yes, correct.
and for that reason she wants to play a major role in bringing the opposition together, because she believes a divided opposition gives President Barrow more chance to win the election. And then also, I think one thing also could be what all of you are alluding to, that in the coalition, although the coalition is weakened now, there is no UDP, there is no GDC.
And let's not forget, there are various, as Mboj says, coalitions and alliances. There's more than one coalition being formed, so
Yes.
there isn't just one.
Yes, isn't just one. We know there is Team Gambia
Yes.
that is leading another coalition
That's right.
process.
Yes.
And then Professor Mbalo
Yes.
is leading another process.
One's for democracy and development.
Yes. So within that process, we now understand that there are 4 front runners. Former Ambassador Essa Bokarsi,
Yes.
Dr. Yafa, Essa Fall, and the Talib.
Yes.
So I think the issue is that they believe that these 4 people will reach a compromise before the 8th.
Yeah, correct.
So if they couldn't have a compromise before then they will do an election between them to see who becomes the flag bearer. So, and I think Madam Tambajang is taking cue of the process that is going on.
Yeah, correct.
Probably that is why she withdraw her bid. for
Well,
the
well
president.
indeed. Yes. And viewers will also realize why I decided to go for the Standard, because as well as that story, there's another story. PAP leader denies discussions to join NPP. So yet more discussions about alliances and coalitions, and yet another story at the bottom. Groups back GAP leader Bachili for president. So we are in full presidential election campaign mode.
Right.
Nobody's even waiting for the starting gun to be fired. Everybody's off and running already. And lots of maneuverings, lots of discussions. So now there's a group, I'm not sure which group this is, that is backing Bachili, but it says, group backs Bachili. But I mean, realistically, both of you, is a single individual who's not backed by one of the groupings likely to unseat President Barrow? What is the reality of that?
The reality
let's
is
get
that
real.
the reality is that if all of them don't come together,
Yeah.
there is likely no chance for one of them to go separately and win the elections.
Yeah.
There is no chance
Yeah.
for me.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
Ibrahima?
Yeah, I think.
Surprise me.
Yeah, I think here the understanding should be that President Barrow won over 53%
Last
last
elections.
of the last
2021.
presidential election in 2021, and all the oppositions combined had about 47%. So now, if you have a fragmented opposition at this stage, where everybody want to go on your own, try to create your little group at the corner,
Yeah.
that strengthens the NPP in a certain way.
And not only that, what's not to say that having been the incumbent and having had all these years
Yes.
of being seen around the country and so on, he might not even increase his percentage to beyond 53%.
Yeah.
Well, so,
Yeah.
That could be.
Yeah.
That could be as well. But you see, as the opposition are busy building alliances, the ruling party is also busy
It's its
strengthening
own.
its alliance.
Yeah.
It has
We saw Mama
APRC,
Kande.
It
we
has
saw
GDC,
in it,
Yeah.
and that is interesting because GDC had about 105,000 votes in the last
that's right.
presidential election. So although some people are saying that Mama understands that his popularity is decreasing, and in order to be relevant in the political scene, he needs to join the NPP alliance. But that is a topic of another day. So what is obvious is that unless we have a united opposition, it is going to be difficult for them to unseat President Barrow. And I think statisticians have brought statistics that the population favors a united opposition.
Do you think having a united
fragmented
opposition is seeming to be very difficult at the moment?
I would say it's almost impossible.
Yeah,
Almost.
You
it
will
is.
always get those who do not want to join a particular grouping or alliance or coalition, whatever you want to call it. You'll always get that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they don't all want the same thing. If you
No.
look at their manifestos, the only thing all of them have in common is they want the best for the Gambia. I
Right.
mean, who doesn't? You know, nobody's going to go
Everybody
and say, oh, elect me, but I don't want the best for the Gambia. So that's, you know, yeah.
And the fact that there are different coalition talks initiated at different angles,
Yeah.
it means it is going to be difficult for us to have a united opposition. And now that the biggest opposition party moves away from coalition talks because of issues of party-led and candidate-led,
yeah.
so that also, you know, sends us a signal that probably we will not have a united opposition for this year's
Well,
election.
Tambajang has a lot of work to do in unifying these people.
She does, because if you look at something like, you know, candidate-led or party-led, how do you bridge that gap? How do they find a compromise if one lot is sticking rigidly to their guns and saying, no, it's either candidate-led or nothing, and another is say it's party-led or nothing, then yeah, you know, I think sometimes, you know, we need to say to politicians, you need to be honest with people. Yeah. So when UDP says, when we say party-led, we don't say it has to be UDP-led. Well, actually you do, because you're insisting and saying things like, how can we, with our size, be given one vote with a CSO or with a movement that's just you know, registered a few weeks ago? You want to lead. Let's be honest
that's
about
the fact.
it.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
When UDP said candidate-led, they're obviously telling us that they want their candidate party-led.
Party-led.
They're telling us that they want their party to lead.
Yeah.
If, for example, Unite tells us that they want a candidate-led, now they are trying to see how they could maneuver UDP's political electoral strength so that their candidate Talib could be the head of the coalition. So that's the obvious fact, and we're seeing it. You know, so I think, you know, the language could be confusing, but we know the bottom line is clear that all of them are pushing for their own agenda.
Well, this is it. So, you know, I think interesting times ahead.
Yeah.
Another, I read this from Foroya this time, a very different story. The Gambia becomes first AU member state to ratify Convention on Ending Violence Against Women and Girls. Now, when you read something like this, you know, depending on how old or how naive you are or how optimistic you are, you will take, look, in this country and in many other African countries, we're very good at ratifying things.
Exactly.
We're very good at validating things after they've been ratified. Implementation is where it all falls down.
All the time.
All the time. How do you go into people's houses where a husband is beating his wife? You know, when the neighbors are probably supporting, yes, she deserves it, and that sort of thing. You know, these things, you can ratify them, but, you know, how do you implement them? And that's been our problem.
That's been our problem. And when it comes to these domestic violence cases among women, you would see the family members would even tell you, don't report it to the police. So the society we live in is going to make it very difficult to implement these laws.
Yes, because it's on paper, but as Jacqueline says, we have societal issues to deal with, and expectations and norms and things that we accept as being, you know, part of who and what we are. You know, you want to go and report, and then they'll say, no, if you report, we won't speak to you. You know, it will be shame on the family and so on. That's what you have to fight against. So government can go and ratify all they want. But, you know, how do you change people's mindsets? That's the bigger fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, you know, if you, let's say the Gambia ratified the Mobutu protocols, you know, and then that led to us having our Women's Act.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have that to protect women and girls. And in addition, we have another act, which is the Sexual Violence Act, again to protect women and girls. And to further protect girls, we have the Children's Act. So as we speak, we have 3 different legislation trying to protect women and girls in the Gambia, but we are struggling to effectively implement those instruments. You know, and then what is more striking is that sometimes the people who are supposed to enforce these laws did not understand them. You know, take the Children's Act, for example. Although the government has created a police gender and child welfare unit.
That's right.
And then they have created created spots within each police station where there is a gender and child welfare officer.
Yep.
But I questioned the capacity that they have in order to protect children, especially girls, against all forms of abuse and exploitation. And as you said, some of this violence that we talk about, especially domestic violence, happens in settings where they're highly traditional. And then some of these abuses will happen within the home space, and our culture of silence, and whatsoever traditional beliefs we have would not allow us to come to say this is what had happened, especially for rape cases.
Yeah, I mean, we just did a story last week about the Bureau of Statistics figures about over 130 children working.
Yeah,
It's against the law.
it's against.
And it has been since 2021.
Yeah. Last week, the Bureau of Statistics released the first quarter of the labor
That's
force.
the story.
Yeah, that's the
and
very one.
we did the story on QTV
Yes.
about that. Yeah.
The numbers are striking because
Yeah.
over 100,000 children in the Gambia are engaged in child labor.
That's it.
Although the Bureau could say there is some form of relief in another way because the gap has moved.
The numbers are coming
are coming from 9% to
down
about
to
7%.
Yep.
But also, if you read the report, you would understand that the number of children engaged in child labor from the age of 14 to 17 has increased.
Yeah.
It has.
That's right.
And then we also understand that the agriculture sector contributes a lot.
I was going to
in
say,
terms of
because
child
the
labor.
rural setting, the figures are way higher than in urban settings. So yes, particularly in farming communities.
There's a 19% increment in rural communities,
Yeah.
And farming alone contributes for about 63% of the child labor. Because I have so much interest in this because of my background in child rights and child advocacy.
Right.
And then when the report comes last week, it was, there are encouragements, but then we have a lot of work.
Because we engaged them. We engaged them on it, specifically because we wanted to do a piece on it. And yeah, you're right. So so there's that one. Now, kind of relating to what we've just said, a different story also on Foroya. ECOWAS Parliament calls for full implementation of trade protocols. So you had the meeting in Freetown. You had all the heads of state. And to me, what happened after is kind of typical of what tends to happen with ECOWAS. So 2 weeks after the meeting, when every state agreed that we would proceed with the ECHO, Mamadi Doumbouya, who was there, who voted for it, raised his hands, and we have the video.
Wow.
He then said, "We're not going to join." So what's changed in those 2 weeks? We're not talking about 2 months or 2 years. Matter of 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
You've gone from saying yes, we will join, and even we carried the graphic which ECOWAS put out just 3 days ago, saying that all of them had agreed, and then the next day, of course, we heard from Doumbouya saying, sorry, we're not going to go ahead. And so you have us saying here, ECOWAS Parliament calls for full implementation of trade protocols. We're still calling for these full implementation of trade protocols long after all of us signed up to them. And that's why when you have Alliance of Sahel states pull out and say there's a lot of hypocrisy around what happens, some people sympathize with them.
Yeah. So here, let me put on a radical lens.
Yeah.
In a certain way. Okay. So if you look at us as Africans, especially in the region where we live. Now, when we signed some of these things, for example, if we agree to have a single currency, it would somehow becomes the largest single currency in the world.
In the region.
In the region. Yeah. And then this could serve as a competition to certain safer and also. And then some of these European countries have interest in the dominance of CFA.
Well, you mean France.
France, of course. So what will happen to the reserves in France if CFA is eradicated in West Africa?
Look, it can happen because even in France itself, they don't use the French franc anymore. They use the euro.
Yes.
Wow.
You know, and all the countries that are part of the European Union use the euro. So if they can do it, why can't we do it?
We can.
It's, you know, you just convert, you know, your reserves from whatever, you know, currency they were held in, and so on. And that whole colonial handcuff that France, is a disgrace. It should not be happening long after these countries were supposedly independent. We shouldn't even be.
So this is
that.
where I'm even driving.
But you're right.
You know, so the colonial, we still have a colonial impact. You know, in some of these things, and then countries like France would have a vested interest in Africa in a certain way, and then having a single monitoring currency in West Africa probably would not be to their interest in a certain way. But we should understand what is our interest, not what satisfies our colonial masters.
And I think the reason why that will change, before you come in, Jacqueline, is I think already we've seen a lot of these countries that were formerly colonized by France distancing themselves from France. Obviously, the most obvious are the three Alliance of Sahel States countries, but other countries too have kind of made quite a distance between themselves and France. They turn into Russia, they turn into China as their new friends, sometimes almost their new colonizers, except they seem to be going willingly into being colonized by these people. So you have that distance, and I think slowly the whole CFA thing and the way these countries are, as I refer to it, handcuffed to France, I think that will change.
Inshallah.
That has to change.
Yes, it has
But
to.
pushing for the trade and Guinea's withdrawal from the ECO, hearing from Lanisa's story the other day, some of these will affect some of these countries that are facing inflation and the economy.
Trust me. They went through the same argument in Europe before they adopted the euro. This is not rocket science. It's been done in other regions. South Africa is about to, Southern Africa is about to do it, Eastern Africa is about to do it. It can be done. It can be done.
SADC is trying to implement something like that.
That's right.
So but in our zone, we are struggling to, in fact, enforce or effectively implement
the most basic.
The basic thing.
Free movement of people and goods.
Right.
That's been there.
That's what I wanted to say.
It's been there forever. And
We're not serious in this region.
Exactly.
We have an ECOWAS court, okay?
Yes.
And not all of us have even signed up to say that we will be bound by any judgment coming from that court.
Yes.
Sierra Leone, the vice president, Samuel Samsumana, he took his president, Ernest Bai Koroma, to court and said, in Sierra Leone, you have the American system of presidential election. On the ticket, you vote for a president and a vice president together. You don't become president like in Gambia and then you choose. Yeah? So he said, I was elected, I wasn't selected. Yes? He lost the case in Sierra Leone somehow. He took it to the ECOWAS court and he won.
Yes.
They gave a judgment that Koroma should reinstate him, should pay him $2.5 million. He didn't get one butut and he did not get reinstated. So we're not serious about...
Absolutely.
You know, and we need to get real. Either we sign up to everything or nothing. And so the ECO is going to be problematic, but it can be done if there is the will. Because all countries in Europe are not equal. Just as all countries, economies in West Africa, in the ECOWAS region, are not equal. So it's not unusual that there will be these divergences, but they can be overcome.
They can be. They can be. And about the ruling of the ECOWAS court, I think last year or the year before, I had a complaint from a media personality in the Gambia who also won a case in the ECOWAS court for the government to compensate two of them. And then, you know, there were, in a certain way, they were not compensated as instructed by the court. You know, and that's something we need to look at as well. If we cannot implement some of those basic things, are we ready, you know, to come together to have a
the really big things? I mean, in Europe, before you had Brexit, you had Grexit, you had the Greeks, long before Britain decided that we don't want anything to do. And a lot of that was to do with their economy. Their economy was struggling to keep up with the rest of Europe and so on, and they decided to exit, you know, the Eurozone and the Euro currency. And then Britain, they exited for other reasons, you know, they like to be independent. and not be bound by anybody else because they know better than anybody. You know.
Yeah. And the story from Britain will be another day because
Yeah,
eventually they have about 7 prime ministers within 10 years.
10 years, a record. It's a record.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure those two things are linked.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I don't know how much time. We have a couple more minutes, so let's see if there's another story. I mean, or is there any story? Our colleague Mamadou Gajaga is coming back from the Commonwealth Games. They were very much reduced, the Commonwealth Games, much smaller over the course of the 14 days or whatever it was. They had 434,000, which might sound big, but at the previous game they had 1.5 million spectators.
Wow.
So much smaller. Gambia came back with just 1 bronze medal.
You're right.
Yeah.
In judo.
But you know, sometimes people say, "Is the glass half full or half empty?" Our women's 4x100 team made the final of that race for the first time ever,
Yeah,
and there
which
we
is
can
historic.
see, you know, the people sort of jubilating and celebrating, and King Charles III, you know, giving a speech at the beginning and also at the end. So you know, grounds for encouragement, particularly with the women's 4x1, because they're quite a young team, and so you know, I was called by Mboj yesterday on drive time, and I mentioned the 20-year-old Nigerian guy who won the 400 meters.
Wow.
He's based in America. He won a collegiate scholarship, and in fact, he won the American Collegiate Championships this year, and he ran the 4th fastest time ever. And I heard him being interviewed on the BBC, and he said, you know, the fact that I was able to get this scholarship to live, work, train in America is 100% why I've been able to achieve this.
Right.
You know, he said if I'd still been in Nigeria, there's no way I would have got the facilities, the opportunity to both study for a degree and get this training and achieve this remarkable. I mean, Innocent Egbonike, who I remember running, I saw many times when he ran in, and he's a brilliant runner. His Nigerian record had stood since 1987, and this guy smashed it.
Wow.
You know,
Don't take it.
so yeah,
Incredible.
you know,
I've not been following the Commonwealth
Commonwealth Games.
Games keenly, but I think there are a lot of positives, you know, in Gambian athletics. Recently, before the norm is that any good athlete that comes from the Gambia, once they have the opportunity to move away from the Gambia, they change their nationality. You know, so that is not the case anymore. Although we have few naturalizations along the line, you know, but the biggest problem that we are faced with now is lack of facilities, because we've seen some of our best long distance runners or even short distance runners,
middle and long and short distance
runners moving to Senegal in order for them to prepare for trainings, you know, and we've seen Gina crisscrossing the world to prepare herself for the World Athletic Game, for the African
now
Games.
Trains in France.
Yes, he trains in France, you know. And Adama was one time in Paris, you know, in Senegal, subsequently in Paris, you know, and then some of the athletes that we have, like Nimasata, are trying to explore overseas trainings in order for them to enhance their careers. So I think we need to invest in facilities.
Definitely do.
Thank you both. And that brings us to the end of newspaper segment. Thank you, Ibrahima, as always, for your insights. And always welcome. And I like the way you went radical on that particular story. And so we'll go for a commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be talking to Dr. Winston Cisse and Pierre Mendy, ophthalmic professionals from 19 African countries graduated here in the Gambia. Yes, you heard me right. Join us after this break.
Q Money is changing the game with mobile money payment. Now, you can pay your QCell mobile broadband plan faster, easier, and way more convenient with your Q Money wallet. Just open the Q Money app or dial *323#. Select option 4 to buy or pay your broadband plan in seconds. No stress, no lines, no last-minute panic. Whether you're streaming your favorite shows, browsing the web, or working from home, stay connected without missing a beat. Stay connected the easy way with QMoney's QCell mobile broadband payments anytime, anywhere. For more information, call customer care on 133. QMoney, Senior Carpet. Terms and conditions apply.
In today's world, speed matters, but slow internet can hold you back. Now, the future of connectivity has arrived in the Gambia. QCell's Q-Fiber, ultra-fast, ultra-reliable internet designed for the way you live. Stream your favorite shows without buffering. Power your business with seamless video calls. Study, work, and play online like never before. From homes to businesses, QCell Fiber is connecting the Gambia to the future. QCell's Q Fiber. Get connected today. Call 145 or 300-3779. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
QCell, the fastest growing network in the Gambia, now presents to you the eSIM. QCell's eSIM allows you to electronically scan a code and join the world of digital SIM cards. Customers with physical SIMs can easily switch to the eSIM as well. So rush now and get connected with an eSIM and start using the latest mobile technology with your trusted GSM operator. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sinubus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome to the QCell 5G Gaming Hub, powered by ultra-fast 5G connectivity from QCell, the fastest network in the Gambia. No lag, no limits, just pure performance. Multiple PlayStations, Xbox racing with full car wheel control, and immersive virtual reality experiences that put you inside the action. Play the biggest titles: FIFA, Call of Duty, NBA 2K, Street Fighter 6, Forza, and many more. Experience gaming like never before. The QCell 5G Gaming Center is open weekdays from 12 p.m. and weekends from 11 a.m. Closed Tuesdays. For bookings and inquiries, call 381-0008. The QCell 5G Gaming Hub. Not just gaming. This is the ultimate gaming experience.
Gambia, are you ready for something big?
From your trusted GSM operator, QCell, your favorite app just got a major upgrade.
From your phone to the world, buy credit, buy Sunu bundle packages, loan credit with eFankanta, and buy Q Power all in one place.
And here's the real upgrade. Q Money is now fully integrated in the app. Send money, pay bills, save money, so faster and easier than ever.
And for our entertainment lovers, stream QTV, Q Radio Live anytime, anywhere.
But that's not all. This upgrade also brings enhanced security features, smoother performance, and a brand new interface designed to save your time.
This is more than an app.
This is...
Hello and welcome back. And if you're just joining us, you're watching QTV and you are watching the This Morning program, the program which we describe as being better than an early morning cup of coffee when it comes to waking you up. And we hope that the newspaper segment certainly woke you up, and also the African proverb. And now on to our next segment. We ran a story last week on QTV News, and we were quite excited about the story because it was about the graduation of 53 ophthalmic professionals from 19 African countries, and the graduation was here in the Gambia. And so here to talk about it, we have two gentlemen, Dr. Winston Cisse, who I was just joking with him that he's becoming quite a familiar face on QTV, from Sheikh Zayed Regional Eye Care Center. Dr. Cisse, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And we also have Pierre Mendy, who is the causes coordinator for the Regional Ophthalmic Training Program. Mr. Mendy, welcome to the program as well.
Sir.
So, Dr. Cisse, if I could come to you first of all. As I said, we were quite excited, 53 professionals, but what also excited us was the fact that those people who graduated were from 19 countries. So how did this come about?
Well, we have the Regional Ophthalmic Training Program, which was established to train mid-level eye care workers.
Right.
Because you can't have ophthalmologists all over the country.
Yeah.
So the ophthalmologists, if you look at it, are mostly skewed towards the urban areas.
Yeah, indeed.
Then the peri-urban and rural areas, I mean, there's
Very
no one
few
there.
or nobody, yeah.
So that was the aim of setting up this program.
Okay.
To train people who will now go to those areas,
Right.
and now form the bridge between the ophthalmologist and the people in the underserved areas.
Right.
So this was set up 25 years ago. Actually, we are celebrating 25 years.
Oh, I wish they told us that. Okay.
So the theme for this year, which is the 25th anniversary, was 25 years of excellence in
Right.
ophthalmic education and training,
All right.
shaping careers and changing lives.
Okay.
So this has been going on for the past 25 years.
Oh.
There was only 1 year where there was no training, And that was
COVID?
COVID, exactly.
Suspected.
2020, 2021. So
Yeah.
for 24 years,
Sure.
we've been training.
Wonderful, wonderful. So, Mr. Mendy, if I can come to you, we just heard from Dr. Cisse there. We're trying to kind of decentralize, yeah? And as regional training program course coordinator, what's your role in actually this particularly decentralization aspect of it?
My role is very simple. My role is to ensure that I got people or students from various countries for the middle or low cadre, so that they can be trained and then be first contacts of patients. In other words, they see patients before they get to the ophthalmologist.
Right.
And if you could remember, or if you know, in all of Africa, the ophthalmologists are usually based at the tertiary units.
Yes.
And then the secondary and the primary are uncovered.
Yeah, correct.
And then as a result, you need to train people who go over there and bridge that gap so that they can be seeing patients wherever there's a necessity or wherever there's a need, they can refer them for further management to the ophthalmologist.
Right. So, Dr. Cisse, I've said that 53 graduated in 19 countries. If somebody's watching this and they're thinking, ophthalmology? What's that? Exactly.
Yes, it's one of those disciplines that are not well recognized. Because when you're in medical school, you're thinking of the big four.
Yeah.
That's medicine, surgery, obs and gynae, and then pediatrics.
Yeah.
Yes, but these are the subspecialties.
Sure.
But when you look at ophthalmology, at the end of the day, everybody will have to visit the ophthalmologist.
Sure.
Because by the time you get to 40, you realize you cannot read your small print again.
You and I are wearing glasses.
You cannot read your small print.
Quite.
You start pushing, getting a bright light and all that, and eventually you
Yeah.
realize you cannot, so you have to visit one.
That's right.
And eventually you get your glasses, which you will use. And usually that's the age where you have most of these chronic diseases setting in.
Yes.
Diabetes, hypertension, and all that. And these are conditions that present in the eye. So most times when these patients come in, they come in with, I cannot see very well.
Yeah.
You assess, you realize that the visual acuity is low.
Yeah,
And when you examine, you now realize the patient has diabetes. You
Yeah.
ask, I mean, there are all signs of diabetes in the eye. So
correct.
you ask them, are you diabetic? They said, no, I've never
correct.
tested.
Yes, correct.
And that is it. So it's something very important that
Yeah.
at least by the age of 40, everybody should endeavor to have an eye exam.
Yes, indeed. I mean, and the thing you said there resonated with me because I was in London, and for many years we used to have this, before we had sat-navs, this thing called A to Z. It was a book. If you were going to a particular address, you look at the back, and it gave you the map coordinates, and then you turn to the page. And we were going to a party, and I couldn't see, and I thought, it must be because I'm tired. So I was doing this. I'm like, hi. And then I thought, no, anyway, we went to the party, and the next day I took the book up with me. I thought maybe I was just tired that night. But then I still couldn't see, and I thought I need to visit. and that was it. And so that was, the thing. So you talked about, regionalizing this, Mr. Mendy. So I've mentioned, so name some of the countries actually that people might be surprised were here and graduated here.
Yeah, people might be surprised that how small we are, the Gambia.
Yeah.
And even though we are not much hard in the Gambia, because some people still ask, where is Zaire and so forth.
Yeah, correct.
You understand? But we are able to get people as far as Lesotho. We do have students from Lesotho. We do have students from Uganda. We do have students from Tanzania.
Wow.
We do have students from Madagascar, students from Chad. I'm going fast.
Yeah. So people can see the spread.
Yes, that is the spread.
Yeah.
And also we do have students from Ghana, Nigeria. We do have students from Nigeria.
Right.
We do have students from Senegal, Gambia, Zambia, and also students from Benin and Cameroon.
Okay, right.
We are almost left with a few countries to cover in Africa. Yeah.
So we got 48 in sub-Saharan Africa, so we have only another 29 to go. But Dr. Cisse, we said they've graduated, but there were different levels, weren't they? And I just wondered if you could tell the audience what those various levels were that people graduated at.
Yes, there were 6 cadres actually that graduated. You have the dispensing. Right. So these are the cater that when you go for glasses, they fit it.
Yeah, got it.
So they do the
Yeah.
cutting and everything and
Right.
fixing into the frame. Then you have the optometry technicians. They are the assistants to the optometrist.
Yes.
So they do the eye test for glasses. Okay. Then you have the orthoptists. These are people that measure the movements of the eye, where there are deficits they can measure. You see sometimes people with squints, like deviated eyes.
They're kind of wandering.
Exactly.
thing,
So
yeah.
they measure the deviation, and if you are to do surgery, we'll advise on what to do, whether to cut some of the muscles
Right.
or to strengthen some of the muscles. So that's one cater.
Okay.
Then you have the community ophthalmic nurses, and these are the ones in the community. So you find them in health centers or village clinics, and they take care of the people down there. So they're able to diagnose basic eye conditions. Then you have the diploma in ophthalmic nursing. These assist the ophthalmologists, and they are very, very important in eye clinics because you have to find them in the secondary and in the tertiary institutions. Then you have what we call the advanced diploma in surgical ophthalmic nursing, who are the cataract surgeons.
Right.
Now, because we talked about the ophthalmologist not going to the rural areas, so these are the people who are sent there. So they are trained to do cataract surgery.
Right.
So these are people who would have graduated as nurses, general, have done the diploma in ophthalmic nursing, and worked under supervision and recommended by an ophthalmologist who they've worked with.
Yeah.
So he may have seen that they have the interest, he may see that they have the knowledge and they have the skill. And these are people that can be trained. And they also have limitation. Yes, and that's one thing you always look at,
Right.
because they are only to operate on simple, uncomplicated, age-related cataracts. So anything beyond that, they have to send to the ophthalmologist
Right.
and children.
Okay.
They have to send to the ophthalmologist.
So what you mentioned, Jacqueline, I don't know if you want to come in with any.
Yeah, 53 is a big number, and they're from different countries.
Yeah.
And he was talking about decentralization. Are we going to see these people that have been trained being sent to our own communities, or are they going back to their countries to serve?
They're going back to their
They're going back
countries.
their countries.
They came for the training and they're going back. And they're not going to start work automatically. They also have to do internship.
Sure.
So they will have to work under, for instance, the cataract surgeons.
Yeah.
They have to work under an ophthalmologist for 6 months. And he has to certify that, yes, they are now safe to go out and practice.
Sure.
All the other cadres too, they have to do internship. They have to work under somebody for some
So
time.
what does this mean for the Gambia having other countries coming here to train on this very important eye care service?
Kudos.
Now, when it comes to eye care, in Gambia, in West Africa, Gambia is the gold standard. We have all levels of eye care. We have the community, we have the primary, we have the secondary, and the tertiary, which is Sheikh Zayed. And this has been replicated in so many other countries. They all came to Gambia, understudied the eye care program in Gambia, and have implemented in their countries.
And not many
Nigeria.
people know that.
Yeah, you see.
Not many know
And that's why we were excited about the story, and that's why really we wanted you here. Yeah.
Okay.
I have two of my uncles coming to the Gambia to have their cataract operations.
Oh, wow.
And when they came and they were like, we came here for an operation, I was like, Gambia?
From
We
where?
traveled to
They came-
Senegal to go.
They came from where?
From Senegal.
From Senegal?
Yes, to come get the operations here.
There
I
you
think they were referred to one doctor. His surname was Jallo or something. I forgot his name.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Mendy, Jacqueline, to kind of pick up on what Jacqueline was just said, we said 53. Of that 53, how many were Gambians?
Yeah.
Out of the 53, we have about 14 Gambians.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're of different
Yeah.
levels.
Right, yes. So
Okay,
we've heard about the kind of 6 different areas, as it were. So how easy or how difficult has it been to recruit people? Because as Dr. Sise said, you have like the big 4 that people, when they think of medical, A, to recruit people into this field, and B, to actually get them to go to the rural as opposed to the urban and peri-urban areas. How easy or how difficult is it becoming?
Before it was very difficult. As we said, it's an area that is not well recognized in the Gambia, or let me not say recognized, but not well known in the Gambia. But now, as people are decentralized and they are all over, many people are now ready to send their people to come and be trained, particularly certain hospitals. They will prefer to send their own staff. They'll come and have the training.
Yes.
After training, they go back there. And also the ones sent by the National Eye Health Program, they will also send them to other health centers or villages and the like. And in other countries, they pick their own candidates.
Of course, yeah.
Because, as he said, most of them come and take a model here, or they come and learn about the eye program in the Gambia, and they went back to their country and did the same thing.
Yeah.
So they prefer sending their students to us to be trained in the Gambia, and after training, they go back to their country, undergo internship or undergo supervision or undergo observation by the supervisors, and after that they put them in the, display them in various areas. I went to Zambia to see, I went to escort something that's not very pleasant. I don't want to talk about that. But when I went there, I went to Ndola, and they put me in a 14-passenger plane.
Okay.
And it takes me about 3 hours to leave from Lusaka to that place. And then I say, wow, if somebody is blind here and all the ophthalmologists are in Lusaka, that man will be blind until he dies. You understand? So I talked to the program manager. He said, by then they were not sending the cataract surgeon. And
Okay.
then she said, you mean you are a nurse? I said, yes, I'm a nurse. I'm still a nurse. He said, well, how do people do? I said, it's just training and commitment. And then from that time, he started sending some cataract surgeon. That's the time we have started having cataract surgeon from there. And even this year, we have 3 from Zambia who are going back to go and serve those provinces.
Nice.
And so, Dr.
Let me just add,
Yeah,
he's
yes,
also a
yes.
product of the school.
Right.
He was trained by the school as a DON, Diploma in Ophthalmic Nursing, and also the Advanced Diploma. He did everything there.
Okay. I was going to say, but people might think I'm making a joke, that, hearing what I've heard is an eye-opener for me, because one doesn't expect this of, as we say, little Gambia. And yet Gambia has this reputation, you say, gold standard. Going forward, in terms of, resources and so on, what can people expect? Supposing somebody's watching this and they think, I'm interested in this. How do I get involved? How do I become one of these? How do I study one of these disciplines?
Yeah, depending on the discipline, if you're doing the nursing courses, you should be a nurse, trained nurse.
Yes.
Either the state enrolled nurse,
yes.
and there you'll enroll in the community ophthalmic nursing.
Okay.
But with the diploma in ophthalmic nursing and the advanced diploma, you have to be an SRN, that's state registered nurse. Yes. Well, it's not really difficult getting in. No. The most important thing or the challenging part is the sponsorship.
Right.
Yes,
I was going to say,
yes. So they have to come in. So with the Gambian students, they are all sponsored by the National Eye Health Program.
Okay.
Yes, that's the parent body.
Yes.
The National Eye Health Program takes care of the health of the Gambia. Okay. Yes. So when they come in, or when they're interested, they apply through the National Eye Health Program. And then it is sent to the school for shortlisting. And I would say, especially patients, the candidates from outside, sometimes we are overwhelmed.
Right.
So we have to tell some to wait until the next year. Yes, because there's a limitation, especially during their practical training, because they have to go to these secondary eye units in the Gambia, all the way up to Basse.
Right.
So imagine somebody coming from Zambia having to go to Basse to do the practical. So the spaces are also limited.
Okay.
Yes. And some areas we have what we call high volume. That is a lot of people coming for cataract surgery. But in some regions, for some unknown reasons, people don't really come up. So they rather prefer to come all the way to Banjul or come to Sheikh Zayed for their treatment, which is something we are trying to discourage. But the aim of getting all these secondary eye units was so that nobody has to travel more than 50 kilometers to see an eye care worker. So if we allow this to continue, them coming all the way, it will defeat the purpose of setting up.
So are we having the equivalent of regional centers of excellence where we regionalize it to the extent where, as you said, we've done lots of programs regarding Sheikh Zayed, and people have come from all over. But is there a program of kind of having regional centers of excellence, particularly to do with ophthalmic services?
Yes, in every hospital, district hospital, general hospital, there's an eye unit. And the eye unit is manned by staff who have been trained by the program. So they are in those areas. And we try as much as possible, because they're also trainers. Somebody coming all the way from Tanzania obviously has to be well trained. Yes.
Sure.
So we ensure that the people manning these areas are well trained, they are up to date. And fine, we have difficulties with getting instruments and some equipment. But with the limited resources we have, we try our best to make sure that they are all well equipped.
Sure.
And sometimes the training program has to chip in, like from the tuition fees.
Right.
If we realize that maybe the eye unit in Basse has problems with a particular equipment, we can now see how we could get money from there, purchase that equipment, go and place it down there, so that at least there will be continuum of services.
Sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong. From what I heard, all these services are provided for, let's say, up-country in Basse, but people still leave there and come to Banjul to get the treatment. Is it that they don't have confidence, or they think that it's only in Banjul where it can be done the right way? How are you planning to discourage those things?
Yes, so that is the general notion, that all good things are in Banjul. Yes, so they will go and see those people all right, but the moment they talk about surgery, for instance, they are like, no, let me go to Banjul. Yes, so now what we're trying to discourage that. What we aim to do now is to only see patients who are referred to Sheikh Zayed. Because otherwise, the services down there will be killed. And our students are also going to suffer. Yes, so that's what we are working on now with the program, to see how, but first of all, to make sure we equip those areas. Yes, and make sure well-trained people are manning those places.
So one of the things that I've been aware of last 20, 25 years when I was living in Europe is that a lot of our trained nurses get enticed to go to other countries. You know, I was one of those fighting it. What's the situation in this particular field, in this discipline? I mean, are we able to retain people, or is it like every other nursing discipline where, you know, we see kind of leakages to other countries?
Well,
what's the situation?
Before, I think we have about 3 or so who left the program, and are in the UK working down there. But in recent years, we've not had anybody leaving. We've not had anybody leaving.
Okay. And if somebody's watching and they're at university and they're thinking of going into nursing, what's the message and what's the encouragement so that we get more and more people? Because we can never have enough, really. And you know, how do we encourage more people to get into this field? Mr. Mendy.
I think people watching over there, I'd like to tell them that ophthalmology or eye care service is not just a one thing something.
Right.
When I applied for the course, I have 2 minds.
Right.
I say, wow, me, I go and only learn an eye. Only an eye.
Right.
I say, no. Then I went. So, but my first day in class, I was surprised.
Right.
They brought me a whole bunch of books.
Right.
I told the man, is this all for eye? And they say yes.
Yeah.
So what I learned, or my experience in eye, if an eye personnel, you are not only an eye. You are into various areas.
Sure.
You don't only know the eye. Sure. You need to know about other systems, general medicine and all other things. You need to know about the circulatory and all other things. Because in the eye, as we know, is a mirror. The eye is a mirror. Some of the problems I see mentioned because some people
I was going to say
that.
Go ahead.
An ophthalmologist can look at somebody who have not yet even been diagnosed diabetic and say, Mister, I think you need to go and check your sugar and whatever. Check where your diabetic status. And for sure, and behold, most of those people, when they go, they're almost at the, the last stage of their diabetics. So, eye is a very interesting area.
Yeah, sure.
It's very, very interesting. And if you join the eye, you realize that you need not only to know the eye, but you have to know a lot of things to be able to function as an eye personnel.
Yeah. Gentlemen, we hope you've been able to convince a lot of people. As I said, it was certainly an eye-opener for me. And Dr. Cisse, And Mr. Mendy, thank you for coming. And we'll keep following the program. And we hope more people join. And also, I think all of us hope that regionally we'll be able to satisfy the demand, so people don't all have to rush here. Once again, thank you for coming.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, my pleasure.
Okay.
And so we'll take a break, and after the break, we'll delve into our final segment where we look at the National Workshop on Cleaner Fuels and Vehicles. How realistic is that in the Gambia, really? Join us after this break.
Bokal si network bu gëna rëy gëna yombale si réewi Gambia bi fii jëfandikool kool bu set internet bu gaaw li yëpp si njëg bu yomba fii si QCell dawal léegi si suñ customer care bu la gëna jege ñu may la QCell line te doo si fay dara QCell network bu gëna rëy te it gëna yombale si réew mi fii QCell suñu bas ñoo xaali yoon bi ñeneen toppa
naine dake network koto mi yalonko wole warta nyimbanko kan adung adabe soniaring wala nyama imuna fang telefono la mi yalonko abe seniaring adung internet wobe tariaring nyindung QCell dorna sinyin nati aleno ibori yela QCell line ota customer care mi suti atima bi QCell network ko mi warta network ko beti adung adabe soniaring QCell sunu boss ndolla silo walang dolia bulan noma.
These tracks have become my wall, my arena of victory and fear. I relentlessly walk, push, strain, and stretched. Moments when every fiber of my being screams, give up. But the fire within me won't let me quit. Despite the burning muscles, in this sport, every moment matters. Every second counts. My failures, my dreams, my pain, my triumphs, they propel me forward beyond all limits. I am Gina Mariam Basbite, and this is Sunyubus.
Q Money, your ultimate mobile money partner. Cash in now and get credit bonus up to $250. Yes, $250. Need to cash out? Dial *323#, enter your secret PIN and get your one-time password. Give it to any Q Money agent and you are done. Send money to your loved ones with a few taps. Dial *323#, enter the amount and confirm. It's that easy. Top up your cash power on the go. Dial *323#. Register your meter number and receive your token via SMS. Q Money, this is your calpe way to manage your money.
Hello and welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed that segment on ophthalmic professionals, and that Gambia is the gold standard when it comes to this. As I said, that was certainly a surprise for me. Now we're into our final segment of the program. There's been a national workshop on cleaner fuels and vehicles, and something that if you're driving or you're walking along the roads, you'll probably think, oh, about time too. And so here to discuss this, we have Yusufa Jallo, who's a Senior Standards Officer for Petroleum and Chemicals with the Gambia Standards Bureau. Mr. Jallo, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we have Abdu Samadu Haidara, who is the Senior Program Officer with the Environmental Quality, I beg your pardon, with the National Environment Agency. Gentlemen, as I said, welcome to the program. Now, before we came on air, I was joking, kind of joking about, what I encounter every day, including, and, people know this is not made up, as I was driving to work this morning, the number of cars in front of me that were kind of belching thick black smoke. So if I could come to you, Mr. Jallow, what exactly are we trying to do with this workshop? What's the aim? What's the ambition?
Thank you for hosting us, and then maybe I will start with the background.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so this workshop is on cleaner fuel, and it is organized by ECOWAS.
Right.
It is for country updates on cleaner fuel standards.
Right.
Okay, so back in 2020, in Niamey, September 2020, ECOWAS Commission signed directives, okay, on cleaner fuel and then vehicle emission limits.
Right.
And then this was signed by all ECOWAS countries.
Right.
And then it becomes upon an obligation for all ECOWAS countries to implement these directives. So the directives is in two folds. First is for all importing countries, all countries that do not have refineries, but import fuel. They're given directives to conform to the certain standards. These directives was to come into effect 1st January 2021.
Right.
So we have a standard, and then this standard has different parameters. Okay, key among the parameters is sulfur content. You talked about, before we came in, and then you were like, okay, you saw vehicle smoke,
belching smoke.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So part of that is caused by this chemical called sulfur.
Yeah, sure.
Sulfur is a very important parameter in fuel, and we need to set a limit. So ECOWAS set up a limit for this, and that is 50 ppm for sulfur.
Sure.
So they are saying that any country that is importing fuel must have 50 ppm specification. Parts per million. That is like 0.005% of sulfur in the fuel.
Yeah.
That's what all importing countries should accept starting January 2021. And for countries with refineries, since refineries, there is a lot of complications there with regards to the type of equipments that need to, do the job for you. So they were given a timeline of until 2025, 1st of January 2025, meaning any African country that has a refinery, and this refinery should conform to these directives by 1st of January 2025. Okay, so we receive these directives through in response to the directives, we call our stakeholders, because what we do at the Bureau is we develop standards. Part of our mandate is to develop standards, do conformity assessment, and then metrology services. These are key pillars in the quality infrastructure.
Of course,
okay? And so we develop standards through our stakeholders. So we have a petroleum chemical technical committee, which we bring together, and then it was also a directive from the cabinet.
Okay.
Yes. So cabinet asked us to align our standard. Already we were having these petroleum standards.
Sure.
Our first petroleum standards in the Gambia was in 2018. And if you look at our petroleum standards, most of the parameters that were in the ECOWAS directives were already in our standard. Okay. Like for example, if you look at PMS, that is petrol or gasoline, right? You realize that even the for that, it was only the benzene, the oxygenates, and then the sulfur, because initially in the Gambian standard, we have the sulfur content as 1,500 at that time.
Right.
Yeah. So ECOWAS brought it down to 50 ppm.
Yeah.
So these were some of the parameters that we aligned with the ECOWAS directives. But the rest of the parameters were already in our standard. And if you look at the EGO, which is the gas oil, we were already having 50 ppm in our standard. That's the Gambian standard.
Right.
So the only parameter that we aligned with the ECOWAS directives was the lubrication. Okay. So in October 2021, we called for a stakeholder meeting. That is our, technical committee, and then which composed of all the players in the in the value chain,
Sure.
all the players, including the consumer groups.
Okay.
And then we align this standard.
So who represented the consumer groups in that section? I can see who would represent the sort of petroleum companies, but in terms of the consumer groups,
we have the consumer consortium group.
Right. Okay.
Is there?
Okay.
You know, GCCPC, which is also looking at consumer affairs.
Okay.
We're there to represent the consumers, right?
Cool.
So we align our standard with the ECOWAS standard in October 2021.
Okay, thank you for that. So, Mr. Haidara, people watching will think, okay, what's the NEA's role in this? What is the NEA's role in this exactly?
Thank you, Mr. Rama, for that. Principally, NEA overlook at the quality of the air.
Right.
And that leads us to establishing air quality monitoring system, which is comprehensively supported by the air quality monitoring infrastructure. Yeah, firstly, we have about 29 air quality monitoring infrastructure. That is the air quality sensors across the country, many of which are in Greater Banjul.
Yeah.
And also, we have a reference band monitor at NEA, which is more sophisticated and quality and can generate better real-time information on the quality of the air that we have. And one thing that we realize is the source of these air pollutions comes from vehicle emission, waste burning, bush firing, and so on. And when you look at from the vehicle emission, you realize that most of this thing is as a result of high content of sulfur, which impact the engine. Thereby, when you accelerate a vehicle, a hard smoke, emissions emanate from the exhaust pipe. So eventually, as you have said, when you are behind that vehicle, you can see the air you breathed. Already in a stable air conditions that we have in the country indicates that we are 7 times below WHO standard. According to the data that we are generating on our real-time sensors, that is the average we are having. But again, it varies. Sometimes it can go under the Hamatan windstorm. You can see that the air quality deteriorate up to 48, 47, less than the WHO standard.
Right.
But during the rainy season, it drops down due to the impact of the rainfall, which try to suppress the air quality source of pollution. So basically, these are some of the things that we are more interested. And that's why we brought up an expert, a Gambian for that matter, who is a pulmonologist by the name Dr. Sunkar Ture, that NEA works with. Because in our air quality monitoring system, we realize that we have 3 institutions that are key. The technical aspect of it, the information consumer aspect of it, and also the regulatory aspect of it. So NEA, being the host and custodians, serve as the regulatory environment aspect, whereas Ministry of Health serve as the consumer of the information to better educate the public health. And then the technical aspect falls onto the Pamiam Health Lung Institute, which is established by this Sunkar Ture. So he made a very good presentation during this event on the band monitor, which is sophisticated, the annual air quality, and also the sensors data that are being generated on periodic basis. So we are seeing that more needs to be done in terms of regulation, more need to be done in terms of action to address waste management, which is a country concern, not only the council. So those are the things that we are looking at. And then we are also looking at how best can we amalgamate or improve the emission standard that is already, I think, at the parliament for now, being developed by, I don't know whether it's trade or police, one of the institutions established that one, where you have vehicle testing.
Right, yes.
Yes. In our this plan proposal, we are also looking how best can we have a time frame of vehicle lifespans. Coming into the country, we need to establish. It's not easy, but it's not impossible.
Right.
So we need to look at for a time frame. Any vehicle that lifespan, let's say, for example, exceed 10, 15 years in Europe, shouldn't come to the
Shouldn't come.
Gambia,
Right.
for example.
Yeah.
Or alternative to that one could be a long span duration of vehicles in European Union importing into the country. Jare can levy a higher tax on
correct.
that can
to
deter
stop it
people
again. Yeah,
from
sure.
that. So the more you are bringing new and quality vehicles, the lower the tax can be. But those ones are not at our level.
Yeah.
It's at a discussion, but it have to be binding by regulations that
Of
must be
course.
approved. So we're still working on that part.
Okay. If I can pick up on one of the things before maybe Jacqueline wants to come in, and I will come to you about implementations. We talk about directives all the time. You know, implementation and enforcement is our problem. But on something you said regarding the air quality, I just, in your air quality monitoring, how big are the disparities that you're seeing between sort of urban and rural areas? Because I suspect there must be, just because of the number of vehicles.
Obviously, the key sources, vehicle emission, waste.
Waste burning.
Now,
yeah.
these are linked to high population density.
Indeed.
And obviously, when you look at the GBA alone, let's say West Coast plus KMC Banjul, the GBA entity consume about 65% of the Gambian population are residing in that place. Then you expect more waste to be generated. You expect more difficulties in waste management, and you also have to expect more open waste burning.
Yeah.
Now, since you have more people, more industries, you also expect high emission from those factories.
Yeah.
In addition, more vehicles are plying our roads within here. And this is why we always have higher air pollution rate in the urban sector than the rural sector. In the rural sector, for example, when you go to the northern part of CRR, URR, it will take a time for you to see a vehicle plying that road emitting smoke for a long duration. Maybe every 5-6 minutes you will see vehicle.
Yeah.
And how many of those vehicles are emitting, and what is the volume of emissions they are. So obviously this tells you that there is lower emission at that level. And then also we have the sensor that we have in Brikama Bar, bands represent CRR, and the one in Basse represent LRR, and the one in Soma representing LRR, and one in Farafenya. But periodically, we observe in 2 separate months, Farafenya happened to register a higher air pollution rate than Kanifing.
Really? Wow.
Yes, on 2 separate months from the data generated, we observed that one.
Certainly a surprise to me.
Yes. But also, you don't need to underrate Farafenya.
Yeah, quite.
Farafenya is fighting to compete GBA.
Yeah, quite.
Even though it does not have, but it has the population.
Yes, huge
it has
population.
the border influx.
That's right.
So you can see those activities going on there. And then we are also experiencing factories going there, whereby GBA will serve as a supply chain center for them. So that's why in some of those, in these 2 months, we're expecting higher dose one. Maybe it was dry season, but what I cannot remember vividly, whether it coincides with the Hamatan windstorm, that I can vividly remember. But then it happens in a period whereby Farafenye and the surrounding was so dusty. There was constant wind for a period of about 4 or 5 days. People were, a kind of disturbed from that. And when you see, those also carry some of these, interfere with the reading, because sometimes they will settle on the solar panel, which will give a blur image or data alteration. Or specifically, the scientific data that we generate indicates that Farafenye supersede, Kanifing in this aspect. But basically, generally, we have low quality air.
Okay, thank you. Jacqueline, did you want to come in?
Yeah.
We don't have much time. but we have enough time to ask at least 2 or 3 questions.
Usually, like Mr. Ade said, whether you have a vehicle or not, these emissions from the car, they affect everyone, pedestrians, passengers, and even drivers. And you talked about the quality of vehicles that come into the country, their lifespan. These can also cause these things. So how are you managing that?
Okay.
He wants to comment.
My boss will come to that. We are not looking more of the vehicle aspect, the regulation aspect, the standard aspect for now, because we are yet to have that one.
Yeah,
but one thing that NEA Institute is that they are able to purchase new vehicles. On top of that, we have a minivan, a minibus. All the new vehicles are stationed at the office. They operate during official work because we try to contribute to the reduction of emission. Now, there is a bus that will travel from the office down to Brikama, picking those residing along that path. And then we also have a van that will be covering Sukuta, Jamanjele, and so on. So as institutions, to lead by example, we are trying to encourage that. And then we also see in security aspect, they have such vehicles, but most of their vehicles are deteriorated. Sometimes they can emit very high smokes from their plant.
So, Mr. Jallow.
Yeah, so in response to that, already there is directive which was signed in 2020 for vehicle emission limits, right? And then we already developed the standard at Gambia Standards Bureau, and then the standard was developed in 2022 and gazetted in 2023. It's already a national standard, and in that standard, it sets the limits for all the emittents, like PM, etc., CO2. All those has limitations, right? All those are set in the standard, and also the age limit is also there. So for light vehicles, we give it 10 years. For heavy duty, we give it 15 years. That's what we have in the standard. So the standard is there is just for a regulator to turn that standard into regulation. That's how it's the standard, right? For it to be implemented. And also with regards to that, it's not only enough for us to put age limit to the vehicle, because according to the directives or the standard that we develop is based on Euro 4. You have different standards for vehicles, right? You have Euro 1, Euro 2, Euro 3, Euro 4. Now we are at Euro 6. So even if you bring new vehicles, let's say, for example, you bring in Euro 6 vehicle, and then the kind of fuel you are using is Euro 2 or Euro 3 fuel. So what do you think about the effect it is going to have in that vehicle? So technology-wise, I don't think it will be wise for us to bring, that's what we want. We are encouraging to bring in, vehicles of high quality or latest vehicles of either Euro 5 or Euro 6.
We've run out of time.
But the base for us is Euro 4. Yes.
But gentlemen, we've run out of time. Just leaves for me to say thank you to Mr. Yusufa Jallow and to Mr. Haidara. Thank you for coming. And I think we've learned a lot. I think we'll also be interviewing you separately because we want this to get out to the public. And I think this is something that, I think our viewers and listeners will be wanting. And so, Jacqueline, thank you for co-hosting. And to you, the viewer, thank you for watching. We'll come your way again tomorrow. Until then, goodbye.